but my mom sent me to doctors and they diagnosed that I had a nerve disorder in my eyes, optic nerve atrophy. I went to kindergarten in special ed with all the support that they could muster, which wasn't much. I was in public school through 5th grade. Then I transferred to a Catholic school with my brothers and sisters and finished there. Academically, I was fine. I was an above-average student. That changed in high school. As I got older, my perception of the disability and how I thought I was being treated deteriorated. I think people made more of a big deal out of it than I thought they should. I guess, as my world started to expand, it was always the first thing people would notice. They would ask how I was reading, how I was seeing, what materials I had to use, if I had a magnifier, or why I needed this or that. I probably didn't respond very well. I don't know if it was shame, or if it was just me not understanding why it was such an issue, and what difference it would make. I think I hid my anger behind humor for a long time, but looking back now through the lens of over 30 years, I was definitely very angry and very upset. In high school, I don't think that I handled it really well from a maturity standpoint. I didn't focus on what I should have focused on in terms of the work. I focused more on trying to manage the relationships with the other students. There was teasing, name-calling, kind of labeling, like blind man's bluff, just anything related to blind or bad. I don't know what was so funny. I could never figure out what was funny. It was every class, it was constant. I don't know if it was a comic relief that they needed. It was easy for them. It affected my academics. Trying to manage the social piece, I didn't pay attention to the academics as much. I was really inconsistent. I was up and down for 4 years. I was angry and frustrated about the whole thing. I was all by myself in high school. There was nowhere to get help and advice. I would rather not do things than ask for help. My self-esteem was pretty low. I think outwardly I tried to expect things. I tried to portray a certain ability, but I think inwardly it was hard to muster any kind of sustained confidence. High school was hard. It lingered with me for a long time. Oh yeah, a long time. You know, I moved on to Loyola University. Going through all that, maturity was an issue. I wasn't a very mature student. I didn't have the skill, the academic skill, to really be successful in the classroom. That affected my grades early on at Loyola. Again, I was inconsistent. Finally, my parents stopped paying for school. I think that kind of pushed me to say, oh, now I gotta start paying tuition. So that helped, to be honest with you. That helped. It became more of a, how do I accommodate this? What tools can I get to be successful in the class and on campus at Loyola? It became less of an issue socially. I was out more on my own. I kind of got a sense of how I could fit in and be more independent. I could get around. You know, there was public transportation. I could work. I was functional. I kind of built a pool of friends with whom it wasn't an issue. That helped. I spent much more time on academics. As I got older, the teasing went away. It became less of a barrier, less of an issue. It was an academic struggle in college, but I found freedom, social freedom. I could come and go as I pleased. I was quote-unquote independent. I don't make friends easily. To be honest, I'm not really... Well, most of my friends are a few really close friends from high school that I'm still close with 35 years later. New friends, I can probably count on one hand the people that I actually call friends. I don't know if it's self-esteem or just not wanting to go through the effort of explaining, this is who I am. Will you or will you not accept this? It's easier to just sort of hold back. Although I've come to the understanding or the belief that my vision is probably not as big an issue as I've made it out to be over the years. It's still an issue. I think it's affected even my close relationships or friends that I've had for years, you know? Going out and doing things, my travel and how I get to things have to be accounted for. Sometimes that becomes an issue.